Today on the channel, it's been a long time coming, but I'm finally getting around to unboxing the Mondo Toys Deluxe exclusive Skeletor.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Masters of the Universe unboxing and review. And today on the channel, we got an extra special one with the 3, 4, 5-in-1 version of Skeletor with the Mondo Deluxe timed exclusive. I had this in my collection for like 2 years at this point, never got around to unboxing it until today, and I figured today was a special day. With the He-Man movie, the Masters Universe movie, hitting theaters everywhere on June 5th, I figured it was a great way to tie those two in together. Spoiler alert, I already saw the movie a couple days early, and man, I did like it. A lot more detail on my thoughts on that movie in my podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show, episode number 63, for Patreon members, are coming soon to traditional YouTube and wherever podcasts are found. Cheap plug, Todd McFarlane, how about that? But how about how we're going to do this review? We're going to do it like we do all the other ones on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. And as I said, I got this like 2 years ago. It was a timed exclusive from Mondo website. So you had a week, 2 weeks, whatever it was, to get your order in or forever hold your peace. Now we do see Mondo over the years re-release dumbed down versions of Skeletor. Still great figures. Same thing with He-Man. But this is the deluxe one. This is the one that breaks my heart in a lot of ways because you got so many different looks you can use. I really wish I had multiple bodies for Skeletor to do each one of these looks, just like the He-Man one we unboxed on the channel a year plus ago, whatever. But this was a Mondo store timed exclusive. For all your other Mondo needs, though, why don't you hit up old jaystoysandgames.com, use code Kyle, save yourself 15%. Now, sometimes they get these, sometimes they don't. It really is a roll of the dice, as these are fairly expensive figures, as we know. So any retailer, for the most part, isn't going to carry a ton of these just because of the cost to do business with these. But there's no doubt about it. These are amazing, amazing figures, and I can't wait to dive into the Skeletor here today. So enough jibber jabber out of me. Let's dive into it. Let's start off with the artwork on the front here. You got Dragon Blaster Skeletor. You got Terror Claws. You got Battle Armor. You got traditional Skeletor as well. There's a lot going on with this one. And you could even go back to some of the other Skeletor figures and use the Keldor head on here. So if you're willing to mix and match and move things around, there's a lot of different looks you can do with this one. But very cool art on the front, looking very good. 1/6 scale figure, as we know. Skeletor, the deluxe figure on the side. Get a little jibber jabber on the back. We'll read that readout, see what's going on. Masters Universe on top. Looking good on the side here. And then we got the old power of magnets to compel us, or maybe the power of Velcro to compel us this time. You do get all kinds of stuff going in there, and then beautiful photography there of the figure as well. Is that a wired cape I see? Oh, playing all the hits for me. And of course, Lando Calrissian, Todd McFarlane. By the power of Grayskull, evil lord of destruction, mortally wounded by his brother King Randor, Keldor was revived by Hordak, the dark arts master. He merged Keldor with an extra-dimensional being, forever transforming him into Skeletor, overlord of evil. Purged of the desire for all but supreme control, Skeletor was consumed by his greed for Castle Grayskull, home to the cosmos' greatest power source. He assembled Eternia evil warriors, but found them no match for his archenemy He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Now Lord Skeletor has amassed the ultimate arsenal to capture the Grayskull throne at last. With battle armor, terror claws, and his fearsome dragon blaster, he'll prove once and for all who's the true ruler of Eternia. So yeah, there's 3 versions there, plus regular Skeletor. Plus, if you want to grab that extra head and make him just Keldor, there's a lot of different ways you can do. And the bio, I would say, reads off pretty good for what Skeletor's up to. And I wouldn't be shocked if there is a future Masters movie. We could see Battle Armor He-Man. We could see Battle Armor Skeletor. I could see those being in the movie, especially knowing what went down in the first movie, of course. But there it is. That's Masters Universe Mondo Deluxe Skeletor. I'm going to take this out of the package, though, and we'll be back talking all things Skeletor. All right, let's get down to business with the Mondo Timed Edition Skeletor figure here. And man, so many accessories making my head spin at this point. It's just disappointing. I can't buy multiple Skeletors to display all of this kind of stuff. I would love it if they could just sell us a base body to use these things for, you know, $100 or something. Something somewhat manageable, but gonna have to make some hard decisions with this one here. But let's dive into the accessories. Let's start with the stand. Got the big deluxe stand. We've seen these before from Mondo. Always appreciate a stand with our figures, of course. And then, of course, you can't have Skeletor without a cape, can you? I guess you can, but need this cape here. It is a big deluxe wired cape here in a nice bright purple. Representing cape season, got the elastic band up there in the front. Big whimsical cape right here. Just Skeletor all day long. I'm here for this as well. Cape throughout or wire throughout on this cape. Looking very, very nice. Off to the side. Now we also get a wired hood here. So do you want a soft goods hood for Skeletor, or do you like the plastic one we got out of the package? Personal preference, I prefer the plastic hood for Skeletor, but if you like this look better, you can use this one. You can be little purple riding hood is what he can be. But we got some soft goods, soft cloth action with that. We also get a Havoc staff. You got to have that. One of the maybe the most key accessory with Skeletor, in all honesty. It is the Havoc staff, looking very good here. Bright, nice purple with a little bit of shine on it. Looking good, looking extra devious, as we know. Gold ball down there at the bottom. Looking good, playing a lot of hits with the Havoc staff, as you can imagine. And then we got the old Power Sword, but in purple. You remember the old days? Remember as a kid, it was such a magical thing with my original He-Man and Skeletor figure. You could put their swords together to form one sword. And whoever did that had all the power in my playing days. Well, you don't need to do that right here. But you get the Power Sword in purple this time. They don't scrunch together, but looking very good. Once again for the mighty Skeletor. And then I guess the rest of these accessories will go based on what they go to is what we'll try to do. We'll do the generic ones first is what we'll do. And we'll do with the hands here. We got the almighty, whimsical, devilish hands going on. And then you got the Fist of Fury. We get the opposite ones out of the package. So we got options there. And then gripping hands. You're probably going to have to grip it and rip it with old Skeletor, as we know. So we get plenty of different hands here. But we get different sized gripping hands, be it for the sword, be it for whatever you want to grip with, I guess, is how you can do it. But you do got some options with that. Diving in, where do we go next? Should we do head sculpts? Should we knock all the head sculpts out? Maybe that's the way to go at this point. We'll start with the figure itself. And it looks like Skeletor, no mistake in that. You got the yellow and green colors in the skeleton face. Looking extra skeleton-y is what it looks like to me. But all day long, I would know this is Skeletor. It would be very cool if it glowed in the dark. I don't believe that is the case. You got a movable jaw on it as well. Looks good. It's your standard Skeletor head is what it reminds me of. Talked about the hood up here. It is the soft or the hard plastic here. Choose your own adventure, as we said. Now, we do get some extra heads with this one, and I guess we'll go in the order I have them. We do get this second head with those bright red eyes. During the He-Man movie, if you see this movie sometime soon, really love the eyes of the lights in the eyes on Skeletor in the movie. I thought that was a very nice touch. Got a little of that feel right here. But we get more of a Gringy skull on this one. This is kind of how I have the original Mondo one. We'll compare that later on in this video. I have that displayed this way. I may change that one up. That old one, a little bit outdated, especially compared to this. Maybe I use some of this on that one. I don't know. I have to wrap my head around all of that. Second head, we do get another skull head, and this one is a little bit of a new twist here. Almost reminds me of Scareglow a little bit more than Skeletor, but you got a very brown skull on this one. Todd, why has he got a brown skull? What's going on with that? Oh, really? That sounds kind of racist. I don't know. He was found in Mexico. Mexicans have brown skulls. Is that true? I don't know. I've never seen a real skull from a Mexican in my life. But I think we all have the same skull underneath. I think so. I only see one color like a lot of you guys do. But Todd, racist from the couch, of course, as we know. But looks a lot grimier, looks dirtier, looks maybe more evil. I don't know. Are darker colors evil or the bright yellow and green? I think the yellow and green is a little bit creepier. If you see a skull talking to you, you expect something like this. But bright colors, you're like, oh my gosh, why is he bright? I don't know. That's my brain. And then last but certainly not least in the head department, a very fun one here. That's the original Skeletor head. I know that one anywhere. This is the one that was staring me down at the old Sears store back in the day. I was going to have to fight him right there in the aisle. Luckily, He-Man came through and I didn't have to get my hands dirty that day. But just reminds me of my childhood playing days and what I thought of Skeletor as a little kid. So you can do that. Feels a little bit out there on this one, especially with all these great accessories. But once again, if I could get a cheaper body, this would fit perfectly on that. Maybe one day. But now we're going to dive into Skeletor. I guess we'll go through the regular Skeletor first. That's what we're going to do. I'm trying to think. I'm doing it on the fly, as we usually do right here. But we're going to dive into the body. Of course, it was the 80s. Blue skin tone was very popular in the 80s, as we do know, with, of course, Skeletor, Trapjaw. You guys know Trapjaw? You're familiar with him? Some other characters from He-Man. And yes, you're right, Todd McFarlane, the Smurfs as well. So a lot of popularity with blue-skinned individuals back in the 80s. Not with you, Todd, though. You don't like any color. He hates all the colors. He hates all the colors. But blue really does stand out on the Skeletor figure. Of course, Skeletor been hitting the gym pretty hard, all ripped up, got the abs going on. Looking pretty good for a dead skeleton, no doubt about it. You do got the apparatus over the top, hallmarks of Skeletor, very gladiator style up there on the top, looking very good. Even some bones, spine in there. You got the bones in the front with the jewel. On brand for Skeletor. Forearm guards looking good as well. Love the bat wings on there. Got the big belt buckle. You got the soft goods loincloth. It is Eternia after all. And then you got the gladiator holdings down the front, looking very good, flapping around. And then you got a little bird beak right there, looking good like it's off of Snake Mountain. Shin guards down here looking very good. Normally I'd compare these to maybe Ron Hassey, Terry Steinbach, Darian Dalton, Benito Santiago, Pudge Rodriguez, Carlton Fisk, maybe Mike Piazza, Todd McFarlane. But this is actually Skeletor specific. This is what Skeletor actually had in his own thing. Looking good, on brand. Nobody else has something like that. Love the little skulls hanging down there on as well. Big old sharp teeth, toes, teeth. They're both sharp on Skeletor, but these toes very sharp down here in black against that blue. Looking very cool there. And then diving into it a little bit more, we got articulation on these. Heads removable, back force, side to side. Upper ab, not a ton of movement out of these as we do know, but you got upper waist, a little bit lower, not a lot to write home about. Arms do go around. You are limited a little bit there. You do get bicep cut a little bit. Single jointed elbows, very tight. Recommend heating these up before you dial them in. Hands back and forth, side to side, removable. That's one I'm always nervous of pulling. I've had too many Mondo figures break at the hands pulling them off. There's nothing worse than that, let me tell you. You do get the leg that goes up a little bit. Double jointed, pinless knees. A little bit of boot cut, a little bit of ankles. But these are basically statues with a little bit of posability. I mean, that's what Mondo is. And that's what they've really always been as far as these style of figures. And we've seen many of them here on my YouTube channel. But all in all, as a plain Jane Skeletor, just a regular Skeletor, very solid. You put that whimsical cape on here, you're playing a lot of hits for me, maybe you as well. And it's hard not to use that because when we think of Skeletor, we think of this. However, for me, I might be going to the battle armor. That is a classic one. I think it's a very underrated look for Skeletor, and I am leaning towards right now doing the battle armor. Now, we've seen this before with He-Man. You do got these pull apart. The power of magnets compel us. Stick it together with magnets. I think that is a very cool feature. Looking very good. You get the belt here with the same as we saw in the chest apparatus. And then you get the two different logos. So you can choose the battle damaged or the no damage. Choose your own adventure. Plug that in the front. Looks very good. Brings this one all the way back around. Very, very iconic for Skeletor and He-Man with their battle armor gear. And like I said, if they do another movie, which I would assume they will, have to imagine there'll be a scene where they put on their battle armor gear. I think it's so iconic to the childhood. It'd be a nice Easter egg. I think that makes a lot of sense. We'll see what happens. But when I think of battle armor, I also think of the axes. Got the purple axe right here. How heavy this axe? Yeah, pretty heavy, let me tell you. You got the big ball on the top there, purple on the blades, silver in the middle, and then you got the wrappings all over, ready to take on anybody that gets in his way. Shout out to, of course, Skeletor, battle armor Skeletor with that one. Then we get into a little bit of the Dragon Blaster. I guess we'll do Terror Claws. Terror Claws first, why not? We got some Terror Claws right here. You got those big old hands. We've seen this in many different form factors from Mondo, Mattel, and all points in between. I guess basically those two. But you got the gauntlets here that just slide over on the arm. You take these forearm arms off. You put this on here. Put the Terror Claws on there, and you're ready to do terrible things with the Terror Claws if you want to. Ready to scratch anybody's eyes out, whatever it needs to be. Looking very good. Purple on brand once again for Skeletor. But now, diving into the Dragon Blaster Skeletor. Possibly the deepest cut of the different looks. That's kind of at the end of the days. Towards the laser light He-Man days, kind of at the end. The battle armor gets a lot of it, then Terror Claws, then Dragon Blaster for me personally, and knowledge and remembrance as a child. But I will say, anytime you get a pet with a character, you're playing a lot of hits for me, and we're doing that with the Dragon Blast right here. So you get the dragon looking very cool here, very colorful in the red and the purples. You get articulation in the head, articulation in the neck, articulation in the legs and arms. This is a fully articulated figure. You get articulation in the tail as well, spikes down the back, looking very cool. Got the nice collar on him that's affixed to him. You get the jaw that's movable on that, looking very, very awesome. And then you get the Dragon Mist, I don't know what we're going to call this, but it does plug right into his mouth. So you can display him shooting this out there like a young Great Muta. He's spraying off the spray, looking very nice. But I do like this guy, and I love to get pets and things like that with any of my characters. Very, very fun to get that. I love that the jaw moves. Very cool to see that as well. So very nice to see that. You do get the little lock here, so you can lock it down so he can't escape. And then you put this on Skeletor as well. You put this around his wrist, tie this up there, keeps that dragon on a chain, put him on that leash. You don't want him getting out. You don't want him to get out after everybody. And then we do got the body on here, or the same thing we saw with the battle armor. Just plugs in with the magnets here. Looking very, very nice. You got the little hook at the top here. That is for the collar. You slide that in. He could be his little parrot on his shoulder. You know, guys like Shipwreck, Todd McFarlane, guys like you, they got little birds on their shoulders. And Skeletor takes it to another level. He puts a dragon there. There's no tapping a dragon on your shoulder, but you do have that option with this one here. Looking very, very nice. Like I said, very difficult to choose how to go to market, how to display these. As of right now, I'm leaning towards the battle armor just because that's a classic look for me. And I'm also leaning to keep the head that came out of the package as well. So very tough decisions around these parts. But I do got the previous version of Skeletor here, very whimsical. No wire in his cape though. But as I said, I could take some pieces of this, some hallmarks of this, take it off, use some of these onto here. That is a possibility. But man, Mondo is just like they did with He-Man and some of the other characters. Their second run really do improve some of these figures. Better articulation, well, not articulation, better accessories is more like it. Better accessories with them gives you a little bit more pizzazz. And these aren't cheap figures. These are figures you don't want to have to buy multiple times. But in the case of a guy like Skeletor, a case of a guy like He-Man, I kind of feel like you have to have multiple of them in your collection. There's so many different looks you can do. And right now, I'm thinking Battle Armor He-Man, but now part of me is saying just have this as your regular everyday Skeletor and then fancy this one up a little bit, put the Battle Armor or maybe something else on this one. Decision, folks. I'm going to have to sleep on it for maybe a couple of months. I don't know. It took me 2 years to unbox this guy finally, so you know how quick I'm moving around here at this point. But very fun, very iconic, and I'm feeling that Masters Universe mood just coming off seeing the movie last night. A lot of people seeing it, of course, this weekend, opening weekend. All the different toy lines coming out, and once again, we're unboxing them all on the channel, so make sure you're checking out all these unboxings. We've had so many He-Mans. I don't know if anybody, Todd, do the math on this. Has anybody unboxed more He-Man on the channel over the last 5 years since I started my channel? I don't think anybody has. I'm saying it, but there you go. That is Skeletor, the Deluxe Timed Edition. Love to hear your thoughts. Love to hear if you have this one. How did you display it? What is the plan of attack? Let me know in the comments down below. Be very interested to hear your thoughts, and feel free to give your thoughts on the movie as well. Like I said, I enjoyed it. Episode 63 of my podcast, I'll dive into it a little bit more. That's up right now for Patreon YouTube channel members. Will be available for everybody very soon. If you depends when you watch this, Todd. You're exactly right. So there's my Skeletor. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to both my YouTube channels. Don't forget YouTube channel memberships and the Patreon. SirPaul64 is where you're going to find me on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and the Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com, which is the name of my podcast, The Kyle Peterson Show. Available where podcasts are found with video cast on YouTube. You guys know the drill by now. And that is Skeletor. That is the Mondo Timed Edition. Check it out, of course, wherever Mondo's found. Good friend Skeletor, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.
Are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?